go.
And do you like meditate to let it go? Do you exercise?
Meditation helps. Exercise, I can't say I exercise that much.
Okay.
But, as I'm talking to you, thinking back of some cases that I've worked on, Jay, I don't know if you really ever let them go.
Yeah.
I don't know if you really have that closure.
Do you ever get a hit on the Stacy Peterson case?
We were on a national television show, and they asked us some questions about that. And we felt that, the perpetrator would be arrested for, if it's the one I'm thinking of, for murdering a wife before that.
And that's what's happened.
And that's what's going on.
So this took place before
the TV show
Drew Peterson was arrested.
Right. The TV show that we did was back in, I think, 2008. So the only problem that I think I have as an intuitive, and most true intuitives, are timing issues. We might see the number 2. We might think it's 2 months, but in this case, it was really about 2 years. But officially, we were never called on that case.
Or the second wife.
Or the second wife.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And what predictions do you have for the remainder of the year?
Well, my hope is that the economy will get a little bit better. I don't see it going that way.
So sometimes there's a conflict between what you want to happen and what your intuition is saying.
Absolutely.
Okay.
One of the hardest things I ever had to do was when I got a call from a news station in Chicago, and they asked me to predict the outcomes of a Bear game. And, I'm a Bears fan, so, it's kind of hard to get Mel to step out of that.
Yeah.
Have to step aside.
I actually have a friend who's a psychic, and he refuses to give sports because he's afraid people are going to bet on it and then take him to task if he makes a wrong prediction.
Well, I did it more for the fun of it, but...
And do you have any other predictions?
Well, people are talking about the recent changeover with the elections of government, and that maybe that's a bad thing, but, I don't think it's all that bad. I think that maybe my hope is that we can all get together and work together to help in this war, to help with the economy. But my take is it's going to take at least about 4 more years for the economy to pull out. I'm thinking the war will end in about 2 to 2.5 years. So that is my psychic prediction on it.
Yeah, and before the show you asked me, you talked about 2012. Any predictions you want to make for 2012?
Well, I'm the eternal optimist, and I hear all these people talking about 2012 based on, I think it was the Mayan calendar. But I, as an intuitive, see a future for people past 2012. So I don't think it's going to be that catastrophic group of events that everybody's saying is going to happen. I do think that it's a warning. Mm-hmm. And my grandpa was part Apache on my mom's side. And part of our belief is that we nurture our planet and the Earth Mother. Mm-hmm. And I think that maybe the lesson in 2012, and even what's going on today, is that we all need to be cognizant of taking care of our home, planet Earth, and the things that can happen if we don't. So I think that is the true message of 2012.
Okay. Now, is it all right if I ask you to give me a psychic reading?
Yes. What area would you like to look at?
Well, politics.
Politics? Oh, you're running for office?
I'm not going to say.
I think you should.
Oh, well, thank you.
And we can get you a lot of supporters. I don't know what you're running for, but I've known you, but I get very good feelings with you, other than through Infinity, with very good feelings with your ability as a politician, and I would certainly vote for you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course, you wouldn't know if you're going to win.
Okay.
I'm seeing like one defeat, but I don't know if that's happened, because a lot of times when we do this work, we don't know where we're at in time, past, present, or future. But then I'm seeing another election after that defeat where you'd win. So I'm hearing don't give up. I'm hearing stick with it.
Okay. Well.
And some funding issues too.
Oh, you're definitely right. But you're very accurate so far. I did run for political office once and lost, and I have announced my candidacy for mayor.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know you didn't. And campaign fundraising is not something I enjoy and not something I excel at, so I really appreciate that.
Well, I'm hearing you'll get some really good constituents and some good backers, and I'm just very excited because I'm seeing you dressed in a robe, and whenever psychically I see that, it certainly would mean that somebody who's going to hold a political office. So don't give up. Okay,
so now let me ask you, how long, it was almost instantly you were able to give me that reading. Can you talk a little bit about what you are experiencing when you give someone a psychic reading?
Well, again, it's what we talked about earlier. It's about trusting that first thing that comes through. And if you start second guessing it, then you get hung on what one of my students calls analysis paralysis. You know, you start questioning it. So basically, the first thing that was happening is that the information was coming through. As I said, I felt that I heard the word one defeat, but keep going, don't quit. And again, psychic information comes to a person in ways that are idiosyncratic to them. So whenever I see someone dressed in a robe, as I said, it would mean somebody holding political office, and I saw that all around you. So it was just that whole process.
So you're seeing it,
you're seeing it, you're feeling it, you're
hearing it.
You're hearing it. A lot of times, and when I hooked into you, my heart was pounding. And I was having a little anxiety, but it was fun anxiety, thinking, am I going to get this? Am I going to win? Am I going to win? And I'm sure that goes through every candidate's mind, but I'm seeing a win. Because I'm seeing a celebration and laughter and clapping and that sort of thing.
Well,
now, do I get invited to the inauguration or to the...
Of course, of course, of course. And so, do you do exercises with your students when you teach at Infinity?
Yes, one of the things we do is we have people just face off and say, okay, you know, just hook into a flow and keep talking and giving that person information until I tell you to stop. And usually that little exercise runs about a minute or two, but to them it seems like an eternity. And it's funny that in the beginning of the classes, people, I'm not getting anything, I'm not seeing anything, but before the end of the day, they don't want to turn it off. So.
Well, that's a great exercise. And now, what about giving people information when they don't request it? You know, should you always ask someone to give them information before you do?
I never want to be intrusive on someone's personal space.
Yeah.
You know, I have certain newspapers and certain magazines calling my office all the time wanting predictions for celebrities, and I just will not do that because, number one, that celebrity has not asked me. Number two, I never want to intrude on someone's private space. So, I mean, when someone comes in my office, they're there because they want a session.
Yeah.
But I won't give my impressions unless someone asks for it.
Well,
Unless it was something where their life was going to be in danger or something like that, then I would open up.
Now, so it sounds to me that you have, well, not sounds to me, you do have morals, you do have ethics. And besides not being intrusive to people, any other morals or ethics that you feel psychics should follow?
Well, for the public, you know, I mean, I have so many people coming into my office saying, you know, I went to Madam Olga or, you know, Mr. So-and-so who's told me that I have a curse and this and that, and they want all this money to remove the curse. And I just see red. So, you know, please beware of those storefront psychics with the neon sign and you go in and they tell you you've got a curse and they want money. I mean, it sounds kind of ridiculous, but a lot of people have lost a lot of money.
Yes.
The other thing is if you go to an intuitive and they start out by asking a bunch of questions, then obviously, you know, leave.
And well, and what should an intuitive? How should an intuitive start out a session?
Well, I mean, I will ask somebody what brings you to see me, just as like a greeting or something. But I just, like I did with you, I just hook into the flow and keep going. I mean, at the end, if they have questions, that's fine. Or during the course of it, if they want to ask a question, I have no problem with that. But it's my job to tell them what I'm intuiting. And I think a part of it too is you end up being a little bit of a spiritual counselor and guide, and you use a lot of common sense. You have to, you know, because people need encouragement. So I always try to leave somebody on a happy note, leave them with something to look forward to.
Okay. Well, that's a good moral. That's a good guiding principle.
The other thing is I've seen a lot of people who sacrifice medical attention because of advice of a psychic or an astrologer or whomever, and I will tell people I'm not your doctor. You know, they ask about alternative forms of medicine and things like that.
So that would be considered a medical intuitive?
Well, I can do medical intuition, but I'm not a physician. And, you know, I'm in no position to tell somebody what medication they should or should not take, or what course of treatment they should seek. So I'm very careful with that as well.
Do you ever get an impression that you should say